The day of his 2009 inauguration, President Barack Obama stood and gave his oath to this country, our country, to protect, preserve, and defend the Constitution of the United States. As he stood there with his hand held high, you couldn't help but notice out of the corner of your eye a proud American citizen holding up a poster with a brightly colored portrait of our new president with the word hope boldly printed below his face. This famous piece of art brought not only inspiration to the young and the old who live in this country, but most importantly, hope. Hope that for our country that brought enslaved and segregated Africans for hundreds of years would be swearing in their first African American president. Hello, my name is Caroline Kendra, and today I will be speaking to you about the artist Shepard Fairey, the artist behind the Obama Hope poster. I will begin by telling you about Fairey as a person, his early life, his early inspiration, and education. After, we will discuss his professional life, art, and impact to the world, and why it appeals to me. To commence, I will be telling you about Shepard Fairey's early life. Shepard Fairey became interested in art at a very young age. Born in Charleston, North Carolina on February 15, 1970, Frank Shepard Fairey is his legal name. When reflecting on his life, Fairey recalls his childhood in the conservative old money section of Charleston. According to Fairey, in an interview with American Demographics, his family discouraged any involvement in punk rock, skateboarding, and other rebellious behavior. He earned his BFA from the Rhode Island School of Design in Providence, Rhode Island in 1992. Growing up in the 70s, 80s, Fairey grew up in a generation that constantly rejected the traditional limits. In the article, He Might Be Giant, Fairey shares that finally in the 8th grade, I had to take a stand for myself and stop fading into the woodwork, even though I risked getting persecuted by my parents and teachers and friends. But I'm glad it happened. I think a lot of people, even if they're unhappy, spend all of their lives following the path of least resistance. They're just meek and obedient. While in school, he worked part-time in a skateboard shop. The job fit well with his interest in street culture and graffiti, and he started printing his drawings on t-shirts and skateboards. So now we will discuss the introduction of Obey. In the 1980s, he began the Obey campaign. His early street art touched a nerve because it questioned the unopposed Obey supremacy of the powerful. His art said it was time not to obey, but to act. He shares in an interview with The Progressive, "My early work was angry," Fairey says. "Since then, I tried to channel my frustrations and anger in a positive way, but still remain critical, analytical, and willing to embrace what we have in common as people rather than just taking a stand for how I'm different from all that I hate." As a student in the late 80s, Fairey thought it would be fun to print up a bunch of stickers of the stencil of Andre the Giant's face, plastering them all over the streets of Providence, Boston, and eventually New York. The stencil features WWF champion wrestler Andre the Giant and reads 7'4", 520 pounds, Andre the Giant has a posse. He was poking fun at the skateboarders who traveled in posses and decorated their boards with logos of major corporations for advertising. Fairey felt he had to expose the consumer's susceptibility to propaganda. Thanks to his fans, there have been giant sightings in Singapore, Russia, and even Paris. Not everyone appreciates Fairey's graphics. Some conservatives simply consider him a vandal. They believe he is naive and delusional about the ability of his graphics to affect change. He has been arrested a total of 15 times on charges ranging from posturing to vandalism. One of Fairey's strongest earliest influences was Los Angeles-based postmaker Robbie Conall. He was inspired by Cornell's 1987 Yellow and Black Contradiction poster, which was an attack on President Reagan's lies regarding government operations in Iran. He shares in an interview with Michael Dooley, "I thought it was so powerful. He had this really unflattering portrait that was a great painting, well executed, but with clever, bold type. I just thought it was a beautiful way to combine art and politics. I loved it." You can see visual similarities between the two artists, and since then, Cornell and Fairey have been in several joint exhibitions. Now that we have discussed Shepard Fairey's early work and inspirations, I will now discuss his professional life, art, and impact to the world. From what started out as a sticker seen on a lamppost to stop signs, the title Old Bay developed into a brand all of its own, and its legacy came to exist. According to the Daily News Record, the Old Bay brand is being sold in over 250 stores domestically and over 600 stores globally. The brand's designs are placed on t-shirts, jackets, corduroys, and denim. Fairey believes the brand has enough street credibility to last a while. His most iconic piece of art came around 2008 in the presidential elections when the Obama Hope poster came to light. Fairey started out with a photo that he had found originally that included actor George Clooney sitting next to Obama at an event in Washington, D.C. It later turned out to be a lawsuit claiming fair use and resulted that he had transformed the image so significantly that it altogether was different from the original. Fairey did receive a letter from Obama. He shares with Rolling Stone. He wrote, "Whether on a stop sign or in a gallery, Shepard Fairey's work inspires." The original now hangs in the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery. Furthermore, I will now speak about his contributions to the world. Some of the reviews written have considered Shepard Fairey a criminal. Many consider him a hopeful, disobedient hero. In his thank you note to Fairey, Obama writes, "The political message involved in your work have encouraged Americans to believe that they can help change the status quo. Your images have a profound effect on people, whether seen in a gallery or on a stop sign." Carlo McCormick writes in his article, Hopeful Disobedience, "There is a cultural equivalence between fine art shown in an established venue and artistic expressions put up illegally on private property. It represents a tactic sanction of street art from the leader of the free world that is a dramatic shift in the perceived role of art as a radical tool of social intervention." From his early works as a young man to his most iconic pieces, you can find the works of Shepard Fairey almost anywhere, even in our own backyard. He has pieces featured in our own backyard, the Wynwood Art District. Today I discussed Shepard Fairey's early life, inspiration, professional life, and contributions to the world. There are several reasons why Shepard Fairey's work appeals to me. His latest campaign has sprouted from the current protests happening globally. It is titled We the People. It represents and speaks volumes for women's rights, the LGBT community, and Native American rights. As a mother raising two little ladies, it is very important to me that my daughters receive the rights they deserve, the rights to make their own choices, to love whomever they please, and to respect the world and the land they live in. I appreciate Fairey as an artist because his work speaks for us and gives us all a voice. Thank you so much for your time. Again, my name is Caroline Kendra, and this was Shepard Fairey.